All right, Black Box Radio. Listen, you know what it is, baby. We are in the Black Women History Month series. Let me get it right. Black Women History Month 2025 series, and I'm just so excited. This is probably the most exciting because I'm a pseudoscientist compared to her. So I'm just so happy to be in space. First of all, with a Black woman that could drop some jewels on me, some wisdom on me. But on top of that, just a beautiful mind. And we're going to get into that mind very soon. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Queen. I'm the host of Black Box Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black people. We expose Black genius. And we also disseminate information to ourselves, the Black community, but also to other communities. And we do this 6 to 9 times a month. We ask you guys to tap in. Listen, y'all got to tap in. I need you to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to build this grassroots space where we can be authentic, where Black people can come together and communicate, and we can talk about our grime and our shine. So I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Let me say that again. Like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to build that space so we can continue to black up the algorithm. And I need you guys to comment also. And if you want to talk to us or you want to come on the show, please hit us up at blackboxradio@gmail.com. No, that's our website. Excuse me. That's our website. Blackboxradio@gmail.com is the website. And our, no, what am I talking about? Email is blackbox@gmail. And our website is blackbox.com. Let me get it right. Blackboxradio.com is our website. It's revamped. I want you to check that out. We got some merch on there. And then we have our email. You want to get in touch with us at blackboxradio@gmail.com. So that's the business, baby. That is it. So all March, we are platforming Black women. We got 10 Black women. We are right in the middle, guys. This is 5 of 10. 5 of 10. So all this month, starting on the 2nd, I've been talking to Black women. So I had 3 the first week of the month, and now we're in the second week of the month, and this is my 5th Black woman. And tonight, we have a Charleston, South Carolina native. I'm in South Carolina also, so we are South Carolina sisters tonight. So this is the South Carolina Sister Circle, and we will welcome Emma Frazier to the box. Say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
We are so happy to have you. Now, so this is, listen, I'm going to call you Mama Emma because I always call my mamas Mama Emma. Mama Emma, I am happy to have you, first of all, because in this series, I wanted to have a little of everything. So I wanted to have a small business. I wanted to have an educator. I wanted to have someone who's working out and take wellness, health and wellness. We wanted to touch all type of Black women. And so, fun fact, your nephew told me about you. And I was like, whoa, who is that? Who is that lady? So kind of first tell us where you're from. What do you do? Let's hear a little bit about you, and then we're going to jump into your story because your story is amazing. So kind of introduce us to Emma Frazier.
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Emma Frazier, as Queen has stated. I am a native Charlestonian, born and raised in a little town called Ravenel, and within Ravenel, the confines of a smaller area called Mulberry. Ooh. A very small, family-oriented community, and where everyone basically took care of each other. In jumping over, one of the things that was very instrumental in growing up was my mom, who was determined that no matter what you did, you will get an education. She was actually of the age that her parents couldn't really afford to push her through as far as she would have liked to go. And she was determined, no matter what, you will get an education. And she made sure that happened. And she is and will always be my shero.
Love it.
And just pushing, there's 7 of us. I'm the youngest of 7. There is one son and the rest are girls. Warren's father is my brother. And
Okay.
again, was very instrumental in pushing everyone that he could to get all of the education that they could possibly get. If there
Hmm.
was something needed to make sure you needed to go to school, you needed help with A, B, or C, he was there to help in any way that he possibly could. It's a rarity, and no matter what, he never said no. And he is my hero. So
Hero. Wow.
I always make sure that I give them the props that I think and I know that they need because they are the individuals who definitely were the wings beneath me.
Wow.
They helped me and encouraged me to start and they encouraged me to keep forth in any and every endeavor that I wanted. So fast forward, I went to Baptist Hill High School, graduated some time ago, actually in the early 70s. I graduated as valedictorian from Baptist Hill High. Got accepted
Oh,
into the College of Charleston. Um, in my initial work at the College of Charleston in matriculation, I was thinking about biology, but decided I wanted to switch with to math because math just came easier and it was like we always say, there's no one and one or two and two that equals a different number at different times. It's always the same.
okay.
So I stuck with math, graduated with from the college with a math degree, went on to MUSC in their College of Graduate Studies, particularly in the Department of Biometry, and stayed there for a couple of years and graduated with my master's. Left Charleston and went into my first real full-time job, and that was as a biostatistician at Mead Johnson and Company in Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Um, Great place to be. That's a company at that time that made Similac. If you remember that,
Yes.
that was one of their main projects. And Mead Johnson is a subsidiary of Johnson and Johnson Pharmaceuticals.
Got
And
it.
from there, just ventured into other jobs and job opportunities. And I'm sure we can get into that. But I think that gives you a good introduction of who I am and where I am. And I'll also get into where I proceeded to move back and get a doctorate degree.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So you moved through that real fast, but we're gonna speed on
Fast?
back because you
Okay.
moved through that pretty fast. Because folks need to understand the, I would say how important it is that in the early '70s you graduated from the College of Charleston with the BS in math. That's important. As a
Yeah,
black person, a black woman,
yes.
um, I'm sure you were one of one, or one of two, or one of three. It was a many, in
Yes.
that time in math, because that is not we're not matriculated through math and a BS in math, so that's big. And so you did that in the '70s, and then you went on to biometry. I've never even listened. I told you when we talked to the telephone, I don't even know what biometry is. So first, I want you to kind of tell people what is biometry. Can they know what that is first? What is that?
Definitely. And I did go through that very quickly.
Okay.
Biometry, the Department of Biometry is a department within the School of Graduate Studies. Biometry itself, of course, the first time I heard the name, like you, what is that? What could that
Yeah.
potentially be? I never heard the name. But biometry is a science that's the application of statistical analysis to any biological data.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you're working with animals, if you're working with individuals, anything that's biological can comes under the realms of statistical analysis. We call that biometry. So in
Hmm.
biometry, you take a series of biological classes. Some of the classes I took were genetics, um, some of the science classes with a few of the med students. Those weren't my favorite, but got through them like physiology, etc., because you had to really understand some of the biological concepts if you're going to be in this area. But
Hmm.
the main focus of my work and teaching in the Department of Biometry was statistics, beginning
Hmm.
from the very most basic course to the more advanced. And one of the things that MUSC did for me was give me a background so I could go anywhere and compete with anyone who was doing data analysis.
Hmm.
So, data analysis is very critical, particularly in places like Me Johnson and Company that I indicated. So, that's a
Hmm.
pharmaceutical company. And in that pharmaceutical company, a lot of what we did were clinical trials and clinical studies. So then you have a group of people that
Yeah.
comes in and they agree to take medications or no medications, and we follow them over time. So once that data is collected, our job as statisticians will be to get that in and analyze it to determine whether one group had a better impact versus another. So that's one critical component of what you would do under biometry. There's
Hmm.
so many other things that you can do, but the basics is having a grounding and a full understanding of what statistics you can perform and what are the most appropriate statistics depending on the studies that are being conducted.
Wow. Wow. You made my head go backwards. I don't know what you talk about. Wow. Amazing. So,
Hopefully, I was clear.
oh my goodness, statistics. Let me tell you something. Statistics and me are not friends. So I got to give you my ashe for that. Biological statistics, no, no, no. So I'm like, that is what I'm talking about. And the family is in the house. Brother Willie said, go on, Emma. And my brother Warren, he said, outstanding. And this is Go Dr. Frazier. That looks like son. Emery
That is
Frazier.
my son, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Welcome, family. I love that. So I love the support. So, okay, so you done through that biometry, Mike. You see my head back, it done pushed my head backwards because that's a lot. So the statistics and biological statistics, that's really what it is, right?
Correct.
So that's okay.
So today, the term that you will hear more often than not is biostatistics.
Biostatistics. Yeah, I'm
So
familiar.
biostatistics really is in the same realm of biometry. Medical
Oh,
University was able to offer a specialized um, area called biometry because they really worked hard to incorporate some of the medical pieces within.
got it.
So when you're
Got it.
leaving, not only do you know how to conduct statistics and analyze data, you have some concept of some of the biological entities that you would come into in different job environments.
Hmm.
So
Very
which
interesting.
so henceforth, Me Johnson and Company,
Hmm.
because this is a pharmaceutical company, they're constantly running experiments and testing, so they were always in need of someone who could help one design the studies if it's a new study, and two,
Hmm.
once the data was collected, be able to analyze it appropriately so that then our data itself would be packaged and sent to FDA, who would approve or not approve whatever new drug they were looking at.
Got it, got it. So, in your time in doing that work, were there a lot of subgroups for Black people? Because a lot of times, we're saying, how Black people are not being tested on the same level well, not tested, well, not in the trials, because you need that statistic so we can be treated. And so, was there a presence, a Black presence when you were doing these type of studies, or was it more European or more of another race?
Um, During that time,
Hmm.
it was still a fight, scientists to actually encourage including um, in a fair percentage
Sure.
number of African Americans, and they
Hmm.
were generally, or we were generally, not really a part of larger clinical studies as we should be.
Yes.
So now we're becoming more and more included within clinical studies. But during
Yes.
that time, if included, the percentages were not equated to at least the percentage of individuals within the subgroups within the population. So if you're
Yes.
25%, you would want at
Yeah.
least 25% in the clinical trials, correct?
Exactly.
So this was not the case during the 70s, and that was probably more universal than not.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now there is a push so that ec- being equitable in the
Hmm.
percentages is more of an issue when we're looking at clinical trials, or we're saying, are we setting it up? There should be a goal of getting this percentage of individuals. Or if you're looking at hypertension, then you
Yes.
want to make sure that you've identified this percentage of individuals who have hypertension and are of subgroup A, subgroup B, subgroup C.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Does the prevalence in the community matter? Like the prevalence because of our diets and the stress level of African, like diabetes and all of these different anomalies that kind of affect Black people. So would they have more Blacks present to in a subgroup in a study because our numbers are high, even though we're 13%, the percentage of diabetics is very high in that 13%. So would that present more Black people, or is still every subgroup get a percentage and that's that?
It depends on the company
Okay.
and their makeup
Okay.
and what it is
Hmm.
they're trying to test.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
it's
That's interesting.
so that may be a yes, maybe a no, but in theory, at minimum, you should have the percentage within the population, right?
Got
So if
it.
you're looking at
Yeah.
it, hypertension or diabetes, the rates of African Americans are higher than our European counterparts.
Absolutely.
So will companies or will drug companies then seek out the data for African Americans and Europeans and then put the exact percentage in?
Hmm.
They may, but as a rule, we generally don't participate in clinical trials as we should.
Oh, I know.
And I
Okay.
know
Yes.
that a lot of that has to do with past studies like Tuskegee.
Yes.
Um, and of
Trust.
course,
Trust
that's
issue.
led to just a lot of issues there. But in addition to that, it will be great to say that everything has changed. So there is more of a push to get African Americans within clinical trials.
Okay.
I, so it really varies from company to company,
Sure. Sure.
what things they feel are most important, but it
Sure.
is certainly important to have us within the studies because
Got
for
it. Got it.
years there were conclusions made about what was going on within population A, B, and
Yeah.
C. However, these individuals were not included in the
No
testing.
representation.
No
Yes. Yeah.
representation. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was an issue, and so that's what I always wonder, and especially
yes,
like things that are really like sickle cell. Like we
yes,
know that is a Africans
yes,
usually have sickle cell,
yes,
and
yes,
so in these type of trials are we represented? And I know trials now are different, whereas they're paying. So when you got that,
right,
you put that chicken up, Mama Emma. You put that cash on the table, and then we come straight, we come straight through the door. So that's what's happening now. Like
yeah,
they're paying, because
yeah,
I know folks who just go and work trials. That's their job. They trial, and and they and they make a little bit of money
yeah.
doing that
And as I said, that's just changed and progressed over time,
over time. Yes.
over
Okay.
time. But
Over
it's
time. So you say in the
certainly,
70s you wouldn't get no money. No, sir.
pardon me?
So you're
No,
saying
I'm
like in
not
the
talking
70s.
about me making money. I'm talking about the transition of having African Americans at a
Got it.
certain proportion within trials, money or no money that they receive. And that's changed over time.
Over
And
time.
I don't really have a good sense of, for different pharmaceutical companies,
Sure.
what the distributions are.
Got
Yeah,
it. Got it. And I hope it gets better because if you're going to use, any medicine or any chemical, you should have, you know, uh, points and statistics on that subgroup. So it makes sense. It makes a
Very
lot of
true.
sense. So, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But listen, we're gonna get off of that because that's going over everybody's head. Your biometrics. But I definitely love it. So you came back to Charleston. So we're gonna speed back into the story because I had to slow the story down. We have to give you your flowers with the we definitely have to give you your flowers with the BS in math because my best friend, one of my good friends, she has a PhD in math, and so
Mm,
she travels a lot
yes,
speaking, and there's not
yes,
many of her neither, and so she has a lot of opportunities because she has a PhD in math and she teaches at
correct.
Morgan where we graduated. So I always kind of, she amazes me and I'm amazed by you. And so you said you came back. Well, no, you before you left to go to Indiana or Illinois, one of the places.
Indiana.
You Indiana. Okay, you
Yes,
had your master's.
correct,
So you came on back. You came
correct.
on back to Chucktown and said, "Listen, I gotta get my PhD." So how did that come about? Is that something you had to have? What made you do that?
So when I returned to South Carolina, and I did more so because even though I was in Indiana in a good place, I really wanted to return to the South. So
Got
I
it.
returned. My professor at MUSC, I let him know, and he made it his business to circulate resumes to get me back.
I
So I
love
ended
it.
up actually at the University of South Carolina. I
Mm,
worked within business administration. They had a big computer room there, and the position was for an analyst to come in. And that analyst job was to help students with any issues they had with programming for certain projects. If there was a professor who needed help, then those were the things that I would be involved in while at USC. And then one of the major professors at MUSC approached me and said, we need more African Americans in this program, and I need you to come back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have no intention of going back through the program all over again.
oh
So,
my
needless to
goodness.
say, he talked and he talked and he wore me down. And I applied and I got accepted. And during the
Okay.
same interim, I said, I don't want to come back and simply go to school. So I also applied at the College of Charleston. And I
Hmm.
became an assistant professor at the College of Charleston. I worked full time at the College of Charleston while I was in the biometry PhD program at MUSC. I did not, of course, I wasn't doing both full time. So I was a full time instructor and I was a part time student. So that's why when you look at the 2 degrees, you've got this time span.
Yes,
So I
yes.
came back with a master's degree, taught computer science, and enrolled within the Department of Biometry again in their doctorate program and worked with courses over years. And again, I think just a blessing to me that my department chair said, okay, if this is what you're going to do, I will work with you.
Wow.
And amazingly, he scheduled my courses that I taught around my courses that I took so that
Mm,
I could do both. And worked, I made sure I try to keep some balance between 1 to 2 courses a semester
hmm.
and courses that I taught. And eventually made it through the program, um, completed my doctorate, and the rest is history.
The rest is his. You're amazing. I just want to stop right here. You are amazing. So you're saying to me, I just want to make sure that because
Yes,
sometimes I don't get it right. So you're saying to me, sometimes things pass by me, Mama Emma. So you're saying to me that you were a full-time professor teaching
correct.
what computer science,
Yes,
okay? And while you were teaching and cultivating and doing that, you also was a part-time PhD student in biometry.
that is correct.
Shut the door. I just want to shut all the doors in the
And
house right now. No
and
way.
I do want to say that I
Wow.
always, when I think about those times, it's just a matter of being blessed
Mm-hmm.
because skill or no skill, capability or lack of capability, I had, I always came in contact with people who were willing to work and support me.
Mm.
And I always think my department head in at the College of Charleston did not have to do what he did.
Yeah.
And biometry was willing to work with me. And of course, it wasn't really, if a class was scheduled at 11 o'clock, I had to be there at 11 o'clock. But the fact that I wasn't a full time student and it took several years. So I always say that was just a blessing that was bestowed upon me that I can never, ever be overly grateful for.
Well, one thing too, they absolutely blessed you, but they saw potential.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So people don't make those type. They don't move mountains for trash. Let's be clear. So let's get this right, because I know you're not gonna toot your horn. I'm gonna toot it all over this interview. So you ain't got to toot nothing. I got you, Mama Emma. I got you. So let's go to the chat and see what you got here, because you got some people who loving on you. We got W. Andre Walker. He says, very impressive. Cheers, Dr. Frazier. We have Doug Wilson. He leaves some hearts for you. Love it. Valerie Valentine. She's clapping you up because listen, because Roy is putting it on the table. You are the GOAT, baby. Yes, sir. I agree with you, Ray. Excuse me, Ray B. Shackelford. I agree with you, absolutely. And then Mr. Nisa, a boss, actual boss, real time, Mr. Niece. I agree. And Nisi, Miss Kimberly Frazier says, "Great job, Auntie." And so, I mean, people are. I can see they feel just like I don't feel. I'm just literally amazed. Like you are a bright mind, and it just so amazing, so amazing, and you're still working. How about that?
Yeah,
How
how
about that?
about
You're still computing.
uh,
You are a walking computer, like you're still
uh,
computing. So
not not
let's
as
walk into what
quickly
you're
as I
doing.
used to compute, but I'm still computing, yes.
Still computing. Wow. So I mean, man. So now you are, and I don't want to say it wrong because sometimes my tongue, epidemiologist. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did I throw that out there correct? Okay, now kind
You
of tell
certainly
us,
did.
okay, kind of tell us what that is first before we even talk about it. What is that?
So epidemiology is
Mm-hmm.
actually one of the areas that focuses on studies of diseases.
Yep.
We want to know how they're spread, what are the implications of this going from person to person, and
Mm,
how these things happen. Okay. One technique I use when I try to explain epidemiology without giving a definition is think of medicine versus public health.
hmm,
When you go to your physician and you go for a medical issue, your physician deals with you on a one on one basis. So they are dealing with one person at a time.
okay.
In public health, we look at communities. We try
Oh,
not to pull out person A, person B, person C. I want to see what's going on within this community that lives in this area, or within
okay.
this county, or within the state. So that differentiates the two. They're both very interested in public health, but
Hmm,
the area of public health is for communities. So when you look at someone who's an epidemiologist, my job is not to try to find out what's going on with person one, person two, person three. It's to look at what's going on within the community. And if I'm looking at a particular disease like diabetes, I want to know something about how, why, and what,
mm,
so that I try to pull out all of these things. I also want to look at distribution. So what does diabetes look like in the younger age group versus
okay.
middle age group versus the senior age groups?
Got it.
I want to look at race ethnicity. What does it
Mm,
look like there? Who has the highest, the lowest rate?
mm,
Um, I want to look at what's going on with males versus females. Then I need to look at what's going on with new cases of diabetes in areas versus people who may be who are either dying from diabetes or
Mm-hmm.
diabetes is a contributing factor to their
God.
death. So these
Yes.
are the things that we try to pull in and take a look at.
Hmm.
If that example kind of helps, hopefully, just put the whole concept of what's done within epidemiology.
Okay, we living vicariously through you now. So whatever you say, we're like, okay, that's beautiful. Good. Good job.
You know, and
So
another example could be
go ahead.
COVID-19, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in COVID-19, you know, this, of course, it was developing over time, a lot of sometime before we even knew how big this was going to be. But
Exactly.
once COVID-19 became a big factor within our life, epidemiologists and statisticians were employed. And one of our tasks were to try to pull all of the data together. Particularly in South Carolina, for example, we are in the low country region. There are 4 regions within the state. So if you're focusing in low country, you want to know with every county, what do the rates look like? Who is
Mm-hmm.
more likely to be tested positive for COVID?
Mm-hmm.
Once vaccines came out, who were vaccine hesitant and
Mm-hmm.
who were taking the vaccines. So a lot of that information should go to our policymakers and individuals in positions who will then go to the communities, right? Because then if you have county, Charleston County versus Berkeley County or in Allendale County, and you have
Mm-hmm.
people who are having COVID, but these people are not getting vaccines, then you know that's an identification of, so could be identified as a hotspot, an
Mm.
area where you know you need to focus your resources to
Got
make
it.
sure these individuals are now getting vaccines or something's going on to hopefully reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Wow.
Does
So
that
so
help?
man, yeah, that helps a lot. So sounds like epidemiology is also weighing in statistics. So there's a lot
Correct.
of factors. So it's a layers,
Correct.
yeah, to actually come to like a way of treating something that is
Correct.
actually viral at that moment. So something that is moving at that moment. So oh, that's amazing. So that's interesting. Hmm.
So even in epidemiology, it's hard to really be an epidemiologist without that statistical understanding or even
Mm,
working very close with someone in statistics so you can appropriately make the analysis
hmm.
for the different issues that are ongoing and always looking at your subgroups so that you
Yes.
can identify what subgroup may be more at risk or less at risk in identifying where we should put resources because that's a big issue.
Very interesting. I mean, and the chat is blowing up. They're interested too. But I'm trying to find out what subgroup is Trumpy and Muskie. Those two. What subgroup is that? Dr.
Is what?
Frazier. Donald Trump, Trumpy and Muskie, and Elon Musk. What subgroup are they? What are they? You won't answer. Yeah, I don't want to
No,
get you in
no
trouble.
political responses from this end.
Smart lady. I know you smart. Smart lady. I love that. So, I mean, this chat is on fire. Cecilia West says, what an amazing journey and story. Thank you for sharing. Just brilliant. Ashe. I agree, Sister Cecilia. Monica said, how cool is that? An epidemiologist. That's what I say. Very cool. Ewart Renner says, love everything. Feel smaller the more the interview goes. How you think I'm feeling, brother? I'm like, I cannot believe it. Glad I tuned in. It's a fascinating subject. Yes, Sister Monica, this is amazing. Sister Amber says, a beautiful story. Thank you for using your knowledge and skills to advance public health efforts, Dr. Frazier. Very nice. Tawana Thomas says, I am following Dr. Frazier. So listen, they looking for you, Dr. Frazier. And Valerie said, oh, you won't catch her slipping. I know. So she gonna catch me before I catch her. I know. So what you're saying is just simply amazing, and the time that you did it, and you're still doing it. I just want you to know that me being younger than you, I'm standing on your shoulders. Like you've paved the way for me to sit here and do what I do. And so for that, I first want to say just thank you for your brilliance. I am really enamored with your mind. I mean, this is amazing. Like I'm a science professional. I work around pathologists and epidemiologists, but I never see a black woman. Never, hardly ever. They few and far between. And so for you to sit here smiling so pretty here, and we're both in the Chuck right now because I'm really based in Baltimore and I'm in South Carolina, and it's just amazing to see and hear your story. It's inspiring, and I want young girls to know, like, listen, Black young women can be scientists. You can be mathematicians.
Yes.
You can be the second iteration of Dr. Frazier. What you think about that, Dr. Frazier?
I love it. Totally support it.
Yeah.
Um, in my position now, I really don't have a mentee, but one of the things I've always tried to do is incorporate at least one mentee wherever I was. Um, we hadn't talked about CDC. I was at CDC for several years. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we were always able to do was incorporate students, particularly students from Morehouse and Spelman, bring in
Hmm.
mentees, work with them, come up with a
Yes.
project and work them through programming,
Mm-hmm.
analysis, writing a
Yes.
final paper. And those are one of the things that I love. And it is basically a way to really give back for all that people have given to me. Um,
Mm.
so I think sharing and mentoring is an awesome task that we do owe the next generation. And I'm not really mentoring now specific individuals, but I have probably about a year or so ago, but I just haven't been doing it now for whatever, for different reasons. But
Okay. Well, me and
mentoring
you
is
gonna work on
very
that.
important. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we gonna work on that. I got my hands up. Me and you gonna work on that mentee situation because I got somebody for you, me. But definitely, I hear what you're saying. We have to give back, and it's
Yeah,
just a beautiful thing to
yeah.
to hear your story. I mean, I think everyone is inspired who's listening. I'm definitely inspired. I'm looking. I'm definitely. When I first heard it, I was just like, whoa, like this is amazing, and you're still computing. Like, are you ever gonna get tired of numbers, Dr. Frazier? When you gonna get tired
Uh, maybe, um, maybe.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, one
Oh,
day.
one day. So what is a lady like you that's so bright? So this is a good question. So a lady like, what do you do for fun? What do you like to do? Because you're so bright. What do you like to do?
Uh, one of my first, I love to read, number one. And a lot of my just extracurricular activities, I have different friends. I have friends that I've gone to undergraduate school with, and we
Mm,
really connect and just go and do whatever we feel like doing. Um, and number three, I have a beautiful year and a half granddaughter, and every chance that I get, I try to go and visit. And hopefully, I'll be able to share a lot of my stories with her one day.
yeah,
Yeah,
where is she?
she is in Virginia.
Oh, very nice. So you're a new
Yeah,
grandma. So that's beautiful. That's always
yeah,
loving.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So you still connect with the I tell folks when you go to college, those are your friends forever.
That's yep.
It's just what it is.
Yes,
It's like another family. Like my friends from college, we're still hanging in there, and so you still connect. That's very
definitely,
nice.
definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay. And so when you went to school, right? So you say that your parents and your mom, school education was important in your house.
correct.
It was something. So all your siblings kind of went in the education path, or were you the one who are just a scientist? Is everybody like excelling per se in education? Is this a family thing? I'm trying to see if it's in your genes.
So my older siblings were not did not have the opportunity to go to college immediately after
Got it.
graduating,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that was really due to the fact that my parents just were not able to take care of that.
Understand
Um,
that.
and as I said, my brother was very instrumental, and he certainly was, one of the individuals who was very instrumental in making sure that I could, move on, make that first step. And once
Mm-hmm.
getting in, things just kept moving for me. I always had part time jobs to make sure,
Mm.
all the pieces pulled together. Um, but eventually, all of my siblings, at some point in their life, they returned to academia and graduated from college.
Really?
Yeah, each one of them. Yes,
Wow. So, so,
yeah,
so your parents, I think they, or your mom, she definitely sowed the seed, and you guys followed through at some point.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
no
that's
doubt.
amazing. No
Yes,
doubt. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Um, let me see what Willie said. Willie says, "Yes, it's in our genes."
Yes, it
Get
is. Willie is my nephew.
He's your nephew. He said, yes, it's in the it's in the genes. He's not playing. Respect. I see where Emery gets it from. So this is Wesley DeWalt. So I mean, they're just here. Warren says, Aunt Emma taught me math and it drove my career. Thank you. That's beautiful. Wow. So you gave him the numbers. 'Cause that's beautiful. That is totally
I was
beautiful.
with
So
Warren a long time.
really,
Yes, he'll tell you the
okay.
story more later.
Yeah, he'll tell you the story. So when it comes to being an educator, what
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
like more? Do you like more being an administrator or epidemiologist, or do you like teaching? Because you taught in a lot of places. You taught at Morehouse. I read your bio. I mean, you taught at a lot of places. USC. I mean, you're bad. So I'm trying to tell the people like she's heavy. So what's better, working and leveraging the statistics or teaching the next minds? What would you rather do?
I'll tell you what I would always say. Here is my ideal job.
Mm,
My ideal job is where I could work as a statistician or epidemiologist,
mhm.
analyze my data, but also have the freedom to deal with students or mentor students who are interested in being mentoring.
Mm,
And as I said, part of where I am is even when I was at CDC, there were various programs, particularly at Morehouse College, where mentoring was certainly encouraged. So that gave me the ability to work full time there and still mentor a student. Or we had students coming in during the summer where we
okay.
then mentored them from May until probably July, early August before they returned to school. So if I had my ideal job, that's what it would be. I love teaching, but while I taught, I also wanted to get my hands within some particular project. And
Hmm.
the issue of working on a project is generally they're individuals who either have thought about something or are thinking about something, but they just don't know the little pieces to put together to make it work.
Got
And
it.
so I'll get those kinds of questions and I'll say, well, how should I approach this? And I'll say, well, you need to do A, B, C, D and take them through the steps. They say, that makes sense. And just help them navigate through this to
Hmm.
understand how to get this thought into a project and then get this project into an entity where data is analyzed. So that's something that you can do in a business slash professional setting, but a
Hmm.
little less of that when you're in the academic setting.
Got it.
So the
Got
academic setting then gives you the ability to work with students who are extremely bright.
it. Hmm.
My experience I taught at various different schools. I'll say this, and Morehouse. being that Morehouse is probably one of the better experience with interacting with really bright students, because my students who took my biostat class were from Morehouse and Spelman,
Wow.
and they were extremely bright individuals, such that several students went on to grad school, and in grad school, they several of them written back because what they picked up in my biostat class, they
Hmm.
were able to just kind of flow through that in their master's program, because I try to really push and instill what I've gotten from biostat into them. So ideally, it's how can I best serve both? And of course,
Yeah.
that's not possible in every job, but
Yes.
that's my ideal type job.
And you married your path when you were a PhD student. You
Correct,
taught
correct.
and you worked
Yep,
and getting your PhD. So you were doing what your dream job is. So
yes,
okay, that's amazing.
yes, yes.
Amazing, amazing. So let me ask, like in your path, because we're the black box radio. So we talk black, we speak black, we walk black. So in your path, I know working in as I'm working in the science as a professional sometimes and in the science field, there are black people. There are a lot of Africans. Have you seen a change like in the guard? I mean, there are a lot of Europeans, and since when you started, are you seeing more black faces, more black epidemiologists? You know, folks that you work virologists, you know, pathologists. Are you seeing more of them that you're working now than you saw when you started?
Oh,
Are we
most
really
definitely.
great?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
The number of individuals are increasing, of course. And of
Hmm.
course, more students are getting into college. More
Yeah,
students are coming out with a lot of different skills. Um, and in the workplace, there are a lot of great young professionals who are starting out.
good,
So
good.
definitely the market, the number of individuals have increased tremendously.
Yes, yes. Because I know when you first started, it was really hard to see you. Did you see a lot of
Correct.
you moving around?
Uh, Depending on the institution.
Okay.
Um, when I was, of course, CDC was in Atlanta, so that was a
Yes.
different setting. There were a
Very
lot of
black.
us.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, there are two of us within the group, two women, two black women.
Beautiful.
Um, so it varies where you are,
Hmm.
and but it's improved, but there is still room for a lot of improvement.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
And I always wonder about that. Like, what do you think? Because I told you I work at an after school program. That I'm here in South
Okay.
Carolina, work with the youngsters, and they're doing IXL, and they don't like math. And black people are math. Africans are math. But they have no affinity for math, unfortunately. And I wonder, like in a curriculum with our young people, because early on they go away from science, engineering. It starts early, and so one of my things is how do we quell that? How do we make like you said, Warren said you taught him math. How do we make our young people? These are 11-year-olds. They don't want to do any math, nothing. And so, how do we change the curriculum that we can inspire these young boys? Because they're bright, they just do not like math. And what do you think that is?
I don't have an answer for why that is.
I
But I do
wonder.
think what, pardon me,
I said I always wonder why the youngsters don't like math.
I think one of the things we need to do, I've been talking with a couple of groups about trying to get our young people started,
Mm-hmm.
is trying to come up maybe with a group of individuals who have an interest in STEM itself, and trying to talk to these individuals and trying to give them some idea about what it really is to be in a career that's STEM based,
Exactly.
and try to foster this. And if you have 20 students, I say, and if you get 5 of them who say yes, your progress has been made.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
That's absolute progress.
yeah,
And that's something to say, and catching them early, because
yes,
the percentages are low and they run away,
yeah,
and because math is these are math heavy movements,
yes,
and a lot of times we see our young people they don't want to do any math, and I think we have to find a way to make math very I don't know, intimate, or something that they will embrace
right,
early. Yeah, they're
right.
gonna count some money, but they don't want to do no fractions. So that's that's particularly what it's all about. So listen, I want to know, since you're still working, um, what are you working on? What is in epidemiology right now? What's the going thing? What are you working on? Tell us a little bit about that,
Um,
if you
Working on
can.
several different things, but I'll try to be brief but not divulge too much.
Okay.
Um, so individuals, because within this group, individuals who are working on their own grants and they
Yes.
need help in getting data to support their grant submissions.
Okay.
That's also one of the things I support. So, in one of those groups, they were very interested in diabetes and pre-diabetes. So, one of the
Mm-hmm.
things I'm doing is gathering data about trends in diabetes prevalence over the last 10 years for them, and looking at that by various demographic groups: age, race, ethnicity, gender,
Mm-hmm.
pulling that together. Um, Probably the other big project for community engagement, because this group really tries to go into the community
Okay.
and educate the community about what is going on within certain areas that are significant. It could be violence, it could be diabetes, could be hypertension, whatever
Mm,
is the prevalence, whatever has a high present prevalence, and also what the community feels are issues they want to hear more about. And we talk
okay.
about those issues and then also talk about how to really reduce the burden for that community. And the next piece is something we call data walks. And data walks is basically creating um, several different analyses of different areas of interest, and then bringing the community members and walking them from one poster to the other and explaining each of the posters. So, for example, a poster might be one might be on infectious diseases. So we look at HIV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, several
Mm-hmm.
of the STIs. Another one might be hypertension and diabetes. Another one might be risk factors like smoking, diet and nutrition. And so then this is a way to bring the community in and give them education about various different topics at one time.
Hmm.
So that's two
Very,
examples.
very, very interesting.
They
Have
take
you ever?
time to put together, but they are very beneficial and helpful to the community.
Okay. And when you say time, is this like a year or
You know,
6 months?
probably
How
months
long
to put
does
it
it take
together.
together? Huh?
Probably months to put it together, depending on how
Okay.
many you're doing. You know,
Okay.
it could be two
Yeah.
months depending on the number. It could be 4 months depending on how many of these areas you're going to focus on. And
Okay.
what you want to do is talk about various aspects. So if you're talking about something like food and nutrition, you want to talk about what are some of the harmful effects and what are some of the things you should do. So you think about what are the things you want to relay about each topic that you're
Hmm.
addressing. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Like how, because when we see disease, we see the actual anomaly. We don't see
Correct.
how they come about treating it,
Correct.
how they narrow it down. How
Yes.
they know. But you're
Yeah.
telling like the backstory of that, and it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever studied renal disease? Because that is a problem in the Black community. Dialysis, end-stage renal disease, kidney issues, and a lot of it comes from chemicals from medicine, the
Right.
Cinepril and these different medicines that blow people's
Right.
kidneys out. Yeah. So have you ever, because I'm really concerned about the amount of dialysis, especially in Baltimore City. In Baltimore City, we got, if it's a school, a liquor store, and a dialysis clinic in a
Yeah.
church, almost in every neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So have you ever worked in that modality?
Um, a little. I've looked at the
A
data, so I understand. It's been a while, and I don't know that I can recall the exact numbers, but I remember if I look at a lab result,
Uh-huh.
where you are in stage one, two, three, four, and which
Yes.
stage is saying, "Hey, you need to watch this because you're getting close to having renal issues or renal failure."
Yes. Renal
Um,
failure. Yes.
but I haven't done a lot of that.
Okay.
But for any new topic, I think in my work we can pick it up. Is a matter of sitting with the medical physician, the medical individual who
Mm-hmm.
understands and who could then impart these are the things we need to look at because that's the most important thing. And
I get
actually,
it.
yeah, where I picked that up, I was really interacting with someone in med school, and those are the pieces that I picked up. But
The piece that you picked up,
chronic kidney
because
disease is what it's really called. I think CKD. Yeah,
CKD, exactly,
yeah.
chronic kidney disease. You're
Um,
actually right. And
a
and a lot
big
in Baltimore. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yes.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
In Baltimore is a black city, and
Yes.
so when I say that, it's the presence is there, but the people are there, and so we see it a lot. And I don't see it as much here, and in South Carolina, the dialysis clinics as I see in Baltimore. So I'm very concerned about Black people and our longevity and as also our quality of life. So I'm just wondering, because dialysis is taxing, it's heavy.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we have to find a way to get a, the GFR was a problem for a while, and
Yes.
that's been actually adjusted for
Yes.
African Americans, which is a beautiful
Right.
thing.
Yes.
So I was just wondering if you ever did that work, because I'm just concerned. I see it so much in inner city areas where Black people are, in
Right.
mass.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Right.
just think it's a problem.
In a limited portion, but not recently or anything. But I do know a little about it, and I know it's very, very prominent. Still, very much so here in Charleston
Really?
as well. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
huge, huge number of individuals because it's the medication, it's hypertension, it's
It
diabetes,
is
it's all
exactly.
of those things that you could have that could lead up to G- CKD, chronic
Yep.
kidney disease. Yes,
Yeah, they are the precursors. Yeah.
yes,
So, folks,
yes,
another thing, we got to eat well. We got to
yes,
change our diet.
yes,
We got to watch the chemicals that we're ingesting and consuming. Watch your stress too.
yes,
Your mental, your mindset. All of this matters. And so, because Black people, listen, we got to have a quality of life, and sickly is not quality. I promise you
correct,
that. And so,
correct.
I mean, we're not only talking about, Dr. Frazier and her greatness, but I just want to ask her
Mhm.
some, because I'm trying to look smart, guys. So put a yay in the chat if I look smart. I need you to do it because I know she's smart. So put a yay in the chat for me. Shout out
You
to
look
Queen of B.
smart.
Shout out to Queen of B out here. So I want everyone, listen, I need y'all to like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to Black Box Radio. We are growing this space. It's a Black space all year long. We Black, and we unapologetically Black all the time. So I need you guys to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel and roll with us. And listen, we're gonna do some more things in South Carolina. I'm spreading like mustard, Mama Emma. I'm down here spreading like mustard. So that's what we do. We're gonna talk to some people in South Carolina and move around. So I got some yays in the chat. So people say I'm looking pretty smart. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. So, Mama, and we've been here an hour. It's just, you see how the conversation flows. It
It
just flows.
did. Yes, it
Yeah,
did.
and you are. I just want to say again, and I know everybody. Listen, put it in the chat. You are brilliant. You're beautiful. You're inspiring. I am just, it's just a pleasure to have you. And you
Thank
seem
you.
so calm and warm, and you just talk and it just comes out. You smile. So I really appreciate your
Thank
temperament and
you.
information, and you've been so transparent. I don't know what else to ask you. Guys, y'all want to ask Mama Emma something? If you want to ask her anything, please put it in the chat. But you are absolutely bright. I mean, and brilliant. Mm. I am very inspired. Very inspired. And you're looking for that mentee. You're gonna have to see me. You have to see me. We're gonna have some talks. But I mean, I want to say shout out to Brother Warren. Thank you for introducing me to your aunt. She is special. I see why you love her. So, and you love her immensely because you are always chatting her up. I tell you that. So I want to say shout out to Brother Warren and to all the family that's here. Let's go in the chat a little bit, Mama, and let's see what the people saying. Um, Ray B said, "Mama Frazier is living Black history." I say, "Ashe, brother, Ashe." Danielle B said, "Very inspiring." Yes, sis, me, I feel it. This is the Pan African of all parents. He said, "You're Afrootly brilliant." He got to make it See, I love my Pan Africans. They make it African all day, every day. So Amber A, thank you, phenomenal interview. I think so too, because she's brilliant. It wasn't hard. Warren, amen. Shout out to you, Warren. And Amber said, "How can we be as bright and brilliant as Dr. Frazier?" That's what I'm saying, sis. Well, I want to rub elbows with her, eat the same chicken. We got to do something together because she's brilliant. Valerie Valentine says, "A phenomenal example of excellence." I agree. Ashe. Ray says, "What is she looking forward to?" Yeah, that's a good question, Ray. Good job. So, what you gonna teach the baby?
I think we're near the end. And I, when I think about what I was taught, one thing I want to relate to her some really positive gems. And the first that I remember is never forget from whence you came. I think it is
Ooh,
very important.
ooh,
And one of my first pastors relayed that, and I always think about him.
mm,
And I always think about my mom,
mm,
and with her, and it's one I always assimilate. When you find a closed door, always look for a cracked window.
mm.
That means don't take that door that's shut and say it's over. Keep looking. Something's
Keep.
going to, a little crack is going to come somewhere. And that's what I use do every day just to make me move from one step to another. And that's been instrumental in just keeping me going.
So that's the baby go. The baby gonna be bright, Ray. So just get it right. The baby is bright. You see, the baby got it. The baby's coming from some good genes. So I just love it. So Tawana said, and this is a great question. What are you currently reading?
Ah,
That's a great question. Good
that
job,
is a
sister.
great question. I just got
Good
the book. I
question,
don't
sis.
remember the name of it. I'll have to get back with Tawana.
Tawana,
I don't remember the name of the book. I just
so
bought
you,
a
but
book.
you all, she's reading something. Just know
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
just know that. But it's not. It is definitely not. You don't remember. That's fine because you what you recall tonight is enough. So we appreciate it. That's a great question, Sister T. Appreciate that. Kwame says, shout out to Brother Warren. I said the same thing. He said, shout out to Brother Warren. I said to yes for letting me know this lady. And he said, and Warren, here go Warren. I need mentoring. You done learn math. Enough for you. It's my turn, bro. Back up, bro. Back up. You cannot get out of here. Go. You're in the family. It's my turn. But I like that. Tawana says she can call me. LOL. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
I, I definitely love it. So I'm gonna put this is your jewel. I always tell people to leave a jewel, but you said it. When you find a closed door, look for a cracked window.
Very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important,
Don't
guys.
accept it as the end of ends. Look for
Hmm.
something else. There's more to come.
There's more to come.
Yep.
Wow. Listen, I just want to hug you. Let me just
Take my hug back.
take your hug. I just want to hug you.
Yep.
Listen, I appreciate um I always say, Mama Emma, is what we cannot be what we don't see.
Hmm.
You can, but a lot of times you need to see it to know that you can be it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had those examples. You had people who poured into you, but I'm looking at you and I'm seeing what I could be. And I want this to be shared. That's why I want you guys to share this to your community, your ecosystem, because we need other young Black women and young Black males to know that they can be anything. And it doesn't matter where you come from; it's where you're going. And if you work hard, you can be anything. And so you have inspired me so immensely. You know, coming from a small town, a small family, and in those times, like my mom, I mean, they didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of stuff. Like we got stuff now. We got computers. We got smartphones. Y'all don't have any of that. And so for what you did is and still doing is next level. You're innovative. You're innovation. Yeah, absolutely innovation. You've innovated Black Box Radio tonight. You blessed me with your presence and your story, and these people who've come through. I am so appreciative and humbly grateful for the chat and the comments. And thank you, Mama Emma. Bless you and thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you so much.
You are simply special, and I want you to know that you. And I'm going to call you. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna get them biscuits and go out for something. Me and you gonna meet up for sure. But I just really am so happy that you are a part of this series. You are 5 of 10 in the BLAKWomen History Month series. We do this. This is National History Month in this country, but we black up everything, baby. And so we have 10 women, guys. This is the fifth. So I want you to go back to YouTube and look at the first four and then be with me for this week, tomorrow, next week, Monday and Tuesday, and the next week, Monday and Tuesday. Every week, we got a Black woman on this joint, and these Black women are amazing. I'm biased, and y'all know why, because I'm a Black woman. I'm very biased, but I'm really imp- excited to present the beautifulness of a Black woman. We don't get all the love that we should. And so I am so glad that I have this platform to be able to give Black women shine and give them some love. So shout out to Black women. Shout out to Black men too. Shout out to Black people. So listen, guys, I appreciate the community. Um, come back, like, share, subscribe. Check out our website, blackboxradio@gmail.com. This has been Dr. Emma Frazier, 5 of 10, BLAKWomen History Month. Holla Black. We here tomorrow, guys. Let's get them deuces, Mama Emma. We out of here. Look at that piece. I love it. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Deuces. Good night.